What's up, guys? It's Mike for Sim Racing 604. Welcome back to the showroom here in Assetto Corsa. And we have a few new mod cars to look at, a few new paid mod cars to look at, but I want to do a quick preface before we actually get into talking about the cars. So today it is now December 24th. The clock has just ticked into the next day. It's just after midnight here on the west coast of Canada. And about 8 hours ago, we got 3 new cars from Race Sim Studio. GT cars at that. So for those not familiar, Race Sim Studio actually came into the Assetto Corsa world via the Formula Hybrid, excuse me. So the Formula Hybrid was the first 2017 spec Formula car we had, or at least the most prominent for Assetto Corsa. And Race Sim Studio actually at that time had no data to work with. It wasn't quite yet into the 2017 Formula 1 season, so they just had to kind of make things up on the spot and take educated guesses, and they absolutely crushed it. So they came to fame that way. The Formula Hybrid was, until the SF70H was released, the sort of de facto F1 car for Assetto Corsa, and enjoyed by many people. Even to this day, a lot of people prefer it over the SF70H. And they have since followed with 3 different cars, the RSS2, the RSS4, and the Formula 79. So the RSS2 was an open-wheel car based on the Formula 2 series, the RSS4, of course, based on the Formula 4 series, and the Formula 79, I believe, was a 1978 spec Formula 1 car. They have stripped any branding off it, of course, and made everything unofficial, and they have done the same for these 3 cars we're going to explore today. So one more thing about Race Sim Studio, they are all paid mods. So we've discussed this on this channel beforehand. Paid mods are controversial. Some people believe that they should not exist in the world of sim racing. Some people absolutely support it. I am of the latter camp. I am not afraid to support a studio that's put a lot of hard work into things like Race Sim Studio does, so I'm happy to give them my money on day one without a second thought. So this will cost you €13.50. Actually, the original price was €15, but they have stripped 10% off, I guess, for a launch celebration. So €13.50 will get you actually 6 cars. Only 3 are in current release, but you will be entitled to get the further 3 cars when they come out in early 2018. So I mentioned earlier that the Formula cars were not officially licensed, and neither are these cars. When you look at those headlights, there's no mistaking what they were going, excuse me, those taillights, there's no mistaking what they were going for here. This is a Ferrari in every single way. So they have named this the Faro Cheo 55 V12. So very obviously based on the Ferrari 550 with that 5.5 liter V12 engine. To my knowledge, this is Race Sim Studios' only, or actually first foray into the world of V12 engines, and to date they've done so well with sounds, with the V6 hybrid of the Formula Hybrid. Let's see, what else was there? I guess the RSS2 was a 4-liter V8. RSS4, I'm not actually sure what that was, but anyway, not a V12. So we finally have a V12, which I'm excited about. And I can't wait to get into this thing. Just in terms of file size, just to give you guys an idea of how much detail Race Sim Studio has gone into. And I get that it doesn't necessarily scale well, but the pack, the 3-car pack so far was about 550 megs zipped, and I believe it was 0.8 or 0.9 gigs unzipped. So just massive files, 2 and 3 times the size of most mods you will find. So just jumping back to the paid mod point, if you're not in favor of paid mods, please do not pirate this. A lot of hard work went into this car. Just vote with your dollars. If you don't believe in paid mods, don't buy any mods, don't support the studio, but I for one am happy to stand behind Race Sim Studio. So the Faro Cheo 55 V12 is what we're going to be looking at first, and as you can see, just fantastic detail on this thing. It comes in just under 1,200 kilograms, and the engine is pumping out just north of 600 horsepower. So we're in that 2-to-1 type range for weight to power. And let's open up the doors and quickly have a look inside. Actually, there was a way previously, actually never mind, I was going to say previously RaceSim Studios has actually, when you open up the doors, the wheels will actually come off and you can see all the components of the wheel and rotor and brake assembly, but they have opted not to do that for this car, and that is fine. Let's jump inside here. Oh, it's not allowing me to jump inside for some reason. Okay, we'll take a look on track in VR. And quick note to viewers, I know some of you don't like the, excuse me, I'll get my cursor out of there. A lot of you don't like the VR view, so what I'm going to actually do is drive a few laps in this thing on the track day. Will actually be my first time driving it, and I'll do that in VR because I'm used to driving in VR, but I will then do a summary. I'll do a replay on my fastest lap with a fixed cockpit view and just do a summary of what I thought about the car over those few laps, and then finally I will sum it up with just a general TV replay, and I'm going to try and do that for all three cars. It's very late here. I'm probably going to get tired soon, so I'm hoping to have this all done tonight, but we shall see. Lights out on this thing. Let's get out there. I think I'll take it to Imola this time and have some fun there. Let's jump out onto the track. Alright guys, so here we are on board the Faro Cheo here at Imola, and we have our sequential shifter hooked up, so that's kind of cool. I haven't done sequential shifting in quite a long time. Everything appears to be ready to go, and let's get out there on track and see what we can do. So immediately this thing feels pretty loose. No heat in the tires yet, of course. Too much. Overcooked that one completely. Still getting used to the handling of this car. And actually shifting without a clutch for that matter. Saw it started to lose the back end there, coming out of the hairpin. I desperately need some tire warmth here. So a beautiful car, but certainly challenging me at this point. You can hear that V12 absolutely screaming its lungs out. Wow, this is embarrassing. Should be starting to get some heat in the tires, so hopefully we can extract some performance out of this thing. Loving those sounds. The handling is great, don't get me wrong. I just need to find what this thing can and cannot do. Apparently with me driving it, it cannot hit apexes. Powering up the hill here, that 600 horsepower makes light work of the elevation changes. Have I hit an apex yet? Way too wide there, and no traction. So we're gonna back off nice and early on this next left-hander. Still locked him up. I think it may be a brake balance issue. Also driver error. Definitely driver error. Alright, what are we at there? 150. Let's see if we can pull that down into the 140s. Used to it a bit now. I say that as I lose control. Try and take the next chicane a bit easier as well. That was better. I don't have my Performance Delta app open, but I'm sure we're up. Alright, so we'll give it one more lap here. Starting to feel a bit more connected to the car now. That was a 148, pretty good. Greatly improved anyway. And lost it again. This thing is a handful under braking, folks. But a beautiful car nonetheless. Some cars are just meant to challenge you, but are good enough to pull you back in to actually want to learn to drive it. And I think RSS Studios Faro Cheo, is that what we're saying, is one of those cars. I gotta admit, I do not want to stop at the end of this video. That oversteer tendency and the unsettled feeling under braking is something that makes you want to put in more laps and just kind of test the limits of the car. Every once in a while though, it just bites and goes, and this thing is so rewarding at that point. Too wide again there. Have to wait for traction to come back. Nice and easy. Still not easy enough. Alright, so we'll finish up this ugly, ugly lap. So my best lap is going to be lap, was it lap 4? Lap 3, I believe. Alright, fun times in this thing. Challenging, very, very challenging. Managed to squeeze out a 148, but somewhat had fun doing it. I wouldn't say it's a bad car by any means. It just is going to take me a lot of work to get used to, but beautiful sounding, beautiful looking car. And yeah, let's do the summary now with the cockpit cam. Alright guys, so in summary here, for those that skip the VR section, this was a really challenging car to drive. I struggled with it, some oversteer tendencies, and really unsettled under braking. However, the looks, the sound, just about anything you could want out of a car in sim racing, this thing has in spades. Again, it's a really challenging. I've only put in, 3-4 laps, whatever that was, so I need a lot more practice with it. But all in all, a beautiful mod. Racing Studio has done a great job. But again, as you can see, I'm taking it real easy just to stay in control of this thing. But I would like to spend a lot more time with it. You can look forward to more videos in this car on this channel because I want to get better. It's that good. I suck at driving it right now, but I'm happy to learn. I look forward to a future with this thing, and definitely give this thing a thumbs up. So I will mute the microphone and let you guys enjoy the rest of me struggling through this lap, and then we'll jump into a full replay and then on to the next car. Alright guys, and we're back here in the garage with the second of 3 cars, the RSS Tornado. Tornado as in unsettled weather, as in storm, as in the Lister storm. So again, RSS not able to or not pursuing official licenses, so this would be based on the Lister storm GT. And you see there, it's right-hand drive, and just a fantastic looking car as always, from what we expect from Race Sim Studio. So, yeah, not much to say about this one. If we can't jump into, oh, we can jump into the cockpit here. That's great. I don't know what happened to me with the Faro Cheo. Probably butchering that name, but so you can see that sequential stick shift there. The badging redone for Race Sim Studio, and just a very simple interior here. Let's get out, let's take a look at the rear of the vehicle. Turn on some lights. Tail lights, brake lights, and then some creepy symbols. Yep. Not much else to say about this one, guys. Let's just get out there and give it a run. Alright, so here we are in the pits here at Imola in the Tornado, and looking around this cockpit again, much like the 550, or the 55 I'll call it because I keep messing up the F name. This is a very stripped down interior for the GT class, and yeah, just very simple. And we struggled with the F-named car, so we'll see if this one is any easier to drive. And it's right-hand drive, and a little bit messing with me, especially in VR. But we'll do a few laps here and see if I have any more success. Already getting loose on me, that's not a good start. Listen to that engine. What you're listening to is actually a 7-liter V12. So if you thought the 5.5 liter V12 was outrageous, here's a 7-liter for you. I can't wait to hear this one in replay, actually. And gearing a bit different here. Feels different anyway. Perhaps a bit more connectedness to the road here. This car homologated to the roughly 1200 kilogram and 600 horsepower, a little over 600 horsepower specs. And just a wonderful sounding engine. Absolutely amazing. So a bit loose under braking, same as its Ferrari counterpart. Nice and easy on the throttle there as I was off track. Yes, I went the wrong way with the gears. And we should be able to get a decent lap in here, planning to do 3 laps. Brake balance feels a bit nicer in this car. 250k, no sweat. Bit more tendency to push this one. Still not pushing. But it does feel a lot more stable than the Ferrari. So far, anyway. That power, oh my goodness. So far this is my favorite of the 3 cars, but still one more to go. Still got that Viper excuse me, Vortex. Whoa, lost it there. So quite a bit slower here actually. What did I run, a 148 in the Ferrari? So 1.2 seconds slower. Let's see if we can push and make that up. One is a bit more forgiving at the edge. And about halfway through this final lap here. Unbelievably nice car to drive. Again, still kind of getting used to it. Overall, just a beast though. Almost lost it there. Too quick on the accelerator. What was that? 147.4. So we did manage to get under the 148 set by the 55. Alright, let's jump into cockpit view and do a summary. Alright guys, so thoughts on the Tornado. So this to me was a bit more stable. I felt more comfortable pushing it to the limits. It could be that I'm just getting used to how Race Sim Studio has modeled their closed wheel cars. I don't know. I need to do some more tests on the F55. But for the time being, this is my favorite of the two. Really rewarding, and that sound of that 7-liter V12 is absolutely incredible. One of the better sounding cars I've ever heard in sim racing. Certainly my favorite in Assetto Corsa, I believe. I think it's just wonderfully modeled. They've done a great job with it. So yeah, I was able to beat my previous lap time by about half a second. Just, I would say, strictly based. I can't tell you if it accelerated faster or anything like that. It would have to take more points of data to make that kind of summary. But just by virtue, it was faster for me, I think, based on confidence. I just had more confidence to push it through the corners and that kind of thing. And I'm only really getting started, only starting to learn the kind of performance limits of this car. Still got a long way to go. I'm sure there are sim racing drivers who are watching this and chomping at the bit, wishing they had this car and they would show me how it's really done. And that's probably true, but for myself, I still have a steep learning curve getting used to this guy. But 147.4 was what we were able to manage, and another great car. So far 2 for 2. RSS has absolutely crushed this. And yeah, this is my favorite of the two so far, and that surprised me. I thought the F55 would be my favorite, but I think I prefer this Lister actually, strictly based on performance. Looks-wise, though, I'd have to give it to the F55, and sound-wise, no doubt it is the Tornado. Alright, let's jump into a TV replay and take a listen. I'm going to shut up now. Alright guys, so back here in the shop one more time, looking at this beautiful Viper. Pardon me, how could I possibly make that mistake? This beautiful Vortex, obviously based on the Viper. The Viper was actually notably absent from Assetto Corsa. You could find the odd Viper mod, but in my opinion, nobody had quite captured it, so hopefully RSS has done that here, and based on the previous two cars, I believe they absolutely have. And again, wonderful detailing. This thing looks lifelike. It's incredible what they've done here. Oh, I didn't realize the dash lit up when you press the when you turn the headlights on. Wow, so cool, man. It's the little things that amuse me, people. So anyway, very, very similar interior to what we've seen previously. The sequential shifter there. Yeah, just very cool looking. And, you know, American muscle cars, modern American muscle cars, that is, are largely ignored in sim racing, I would say. But glad to have this guy here. So this thing houses a 8-liter V10 engine, so these engines just keep getting more and more outrageous. This is the highest horsepower of the 3 cars released by RSS, so you're looking at about 650 horsepower here, pardon my cursor, and slightly heavier. So this isn't meant to be talked about, this is meant to be driven. Let's get out there. Alright, so here we are on track. I can't really tell you how nice this sound is. You can probably hear it a little bit. Actually, let me make sure I'm not drowning myself out here. What is the sound set to? Oh. Apologies, folks, if you didn't hear anything I just said. I was just saying I was excited to be here in the Viper, and I'm sorry to have drowned you out with sound. The other thing I said was my bank password. Hopefully you captured that and can steal all my money. Anyway, happy to be here inside this Viper. Pardon me, Vortex. I am so excited. I can't believe that engine sound. I can't believe we finally have a properly modeled Viper for Assetto Corsa. Let's get out there. This thing is jumpy, I'll tell you that. Oh my goodness, that sound. Wow. Got my hands full driving it though. This thing just sliding all around the course. So the trade-off, I guess, for that sexy sound is that translates to a whole lot of power to those rear wheels. And once again, it feels like the gearing is different here. Feels like the Vortex has a bit more wide open gears. Could be imagination though. Starting to get some decent heat in the tires. And actually, it's surprisingly easy to handle now. Makes me want to run the F55 again, just to give it its proper due. I will do that in a future video, don't you worry. Okay, we'll do a couple more laps here, see if we can generate some decent lap times. I'm anticipating big things for this straightaway. Good brakes in this thing. Actually surprisingly good. I was not expecting that at all. a beautiful machine. I'm just blown away with the job RSS has done here. Woo. Found that limit. I cannot wait to blow this thing through Laguna Seca, and yeah, probably Nordschleife. You guys know I love my Nordschleife. This thing would be a blast through 21 kilometers of Nords. Time rise 139 coming out of the straight there, so we should be in that 147 148 kind of range, and maybe a bit more life to squeeze out of it. 148, 275 kilometers an hour there. Whoa, shoot. Alright, well, that's gonna cost us, but I'm having such a good time that I think I will continue to blast this thing around the track with my dirty tires. And the worst lap of my life. If you guys have watched the channel, you know that's not true. One last time powering up the hill here. Man, I just don't have it on this lap. Oh well, we got our 148. Pretty happy with that. Those who skipped, woo, that was kind of fun. Those who skipped ahead out of the VR parts will have missed this ugliness. Lucky for them. Terrible lap. We'll go one more, folks, if you want to skip ahead to the summary. I promise I will not hold it against you. Alright, forget that. Okay, so that was the Viper. Let's jump in and do a summary lap. Alright guys, so back here on board and just going to do a summary. So I think at this point, and I really need to revisit that F55 because I feel I didn't do it nearly justice, but I think this is my favorite of the three in terms of fun. This one was just a whole lot of fun to drive. I think the Lister for me, or sorry, what are we calling it? The Tornado was probably the best performing, felt the most confident driving it. However, it was fun to kind of lose traction, and I lost too much traction obviously, went off the road several times, but all in all, really enjoyed my time in this Vortex. I would look forward to, as I was saying when I was driving, kind of taking it out to Nordschleife or something like that, also taking it out to Laguna Seca, that would be the obvious choice, and really giving this thing a go and kind of getting used to how it handles and whatnot. And it's just a blast to drive. So just guys, in summary of all three cars, I really can't endorse them enough. I think they all three have their merits. Probably the Tornado, best performing, Vortex, most fun, and the F55, probably the most challenging and the one I look forward to improving upon the most. So, can't say this enough. If you guys have, €15 or right now €13.50 to go out and purchase these cars, these 3 of 6 cars, remember this is only half of the pack you're getting. So hopefully, if you have the funds, I cannot recommend these enough. I had a blast driving them. Like I said, I'm going to look forward to taking these out to other courses and just getting more used to them, get more of a sense of how these things drive. I had fun making this video. I legitimately had fun making this video. It was a blast. I wasn't that great at driving any of the 3 of them, but I just had so much fun doing it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy this replay.